this is what I look like. Since I'm a little bit further away from the camera, it won't be exactly whispers for today. Before I get into anything at all, the reason I'm doing a face reveal is because of the massive support that has been shown for my channel, especially in the recent past. So I want to thank you guys all for showing that support in the first place. When I first started this channel, I was getting some pretty decent reception and it made me really happy. But over time, I eventually took a little bit of a break. Once I started getting into more consistent uploads, the reception became crazy, and I constantly talked about how at 1,000 subscribers, I would do a face reveal. And now here we are. So thank you one last time. Thank you so much. The support has been amazing. I read every comment, and they're all super, super, super nice. I have with me here today a list of questions. I posted on my last video asking for suggestions for questions to be asked, so that today's video would not necessarily be just a face reveal. So, getting a chance to get into these, I want to start off with a pretty simple one today, which is, what is your arm tattoo and what does it represent? I have 2 arm tattoos. The first one, it looks a little crooked right now, but is the Ice King's crown from Adventure Time. Because I love Adventure Time, and that's about it. I just got it because I like it. This one here, if I can get the full thing in frame, is a half sword, half quill. And a lot of people have asked, since I've had it for such a long time, if I got this because it's like a pen is mightier than the sword situation. Truthfully, I just like to write fantasy, so it felt like a cool tattoo to get. But yeah, that about sums up why I have those tattoos. They're my only 2 tattoos, and someday in the future I would love to get more, a lot more. My next tattoo idea is to get, from Death Note, Ryuk's hand holding an apple, just that. I think it'd be nice and subtle, but also every single time somebody asks me what my favorite anime is, I always say Death Note. After all these years, it's one of the first I saw, and it's still, I would say, my favorite. So, next question. What country do you live in, and what would be the next country that you would like to visit? I've visited 2 countries. I've been to Mexico and Canada. I live in America. I won't exactly disclose where I live in America, but yeah, I live in America. And honestly, it wouldn't really matter to disclose where I live, because within the next couple of years I might move states. I'm not really sure, but we'll see. That certainly wouldn't have any sort of impact on uploads of any kind, but just future life planning stuff. I have a really interesting question coming up here, which is, do you watch your own ASMR videos? And if so, do they give you tingles? Fantastic question. I watch back each of my ASMR videos just to make sure they turned out okay, just to make sure there's no like really abrasive noises or terrible background noise, in which case I would just try and re-record it. For the longest time, they did not really give me tingles. I just kind of watched them back like as part of this hobby to make sure it goes well. However, in doing that, and as I got more used to the craft and more used to how to make really decent ASMR, I started to realize that they did give me tingles. And I think most of that can be attributed to the fact that the type of ASMR that I record is the exact type of ASMR I like to watch. So I like to watch fast and aggressive ASMR like many other people. Most of that is literally just me watching Fixie ASMR and Whispersoft. And that's basically all I watch, to be totally honest. But they do give me tingles. At least nowadays they do. But I don't necessarily watch them back for that. I don't watch really any of my videos back more than once. So, coming up next for the questions. I talked recently in one of my past videos about a dream job that I landed. And I was very happy to have this dream job. I'm still at that dream job, which is great. I work for a major nonprofit that takes in donated goods. And my specific office, my specific department, is the department that takes in donated goods that are too expensive to be put into stores, right? So that would be things like designer clothing, vintage clothing, designer shoes, purses, technology, consoles, vintage items in general. My favorite thing to see come through is antiques. Antiques. Every single time I see an antique, I freak out a little bit. Because some of the stuff we get is like hundreds of years old, or at least it seems that way. So that's my favorite part of the job. And I have a photographer who sends me pictures of these items, and then I have to write online descriptions about these items where they can be sold for more money on an online platform. Interestingly enough, in like a week, I'm not doing that anymore. I work in the exact same office, but we're opening up a department that is just for books. And if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that that's right up my alley. Right up my alley. And I couldn't be more excited. Right now we're just building that part of the office. And I'll still get to see all this cool stuff that comes through. But my department is going to be just books. Just books. So that's something I'm actually just really quite excited about. As soon as they told us that a book department was opening up, I immediately shot my hand up and I was like, please let me switch departments. Please let me switch departments. So that's what I do. I think I've gotten into it a little bit, what I do, but not really fully in depth. Also, I'm crouching right now because I'm tall and I can't fix the distance between face and camera. So, but I'm comfortable. It's okay. So I like this question a lot too. What are some of your hobbies outside of writing, which I've talked about a lot? I love to write. And if I have any book recommendations. And I would say I have a lot of hobbies outside of writing. I read, but I read pretty infrequently, to be honest. I play video games here and there. Nowadays, I don't really find much time for it. I play a lot of Pokemon. I'm obsessed with Pokemon. And watching Pokemon, like, content on YouTube is one of my favorite personal things to do. Recording ASMR and uploading ASMR, I would say, is like my right up there with writing. It's one of the most important things that I do on a regular basis. So outside of that, one of my largest hobbies right now is working out. I've gotten a chance to get in a rhythm where I work out daily, and I love it so much. I love it so much. it's made all the difference for me. And I would highly recommend that anybody watching just gets into some type of whatever you're able to do, some type of workout regimen or some sort of exercising regimen, because it's life altering. It doesn't have to be that crazy. So, and do I have any book recommendations? Before going into this video, I thought about it pretty deeply, and the terrible answer is, with as much as I write, I don't really necessarily have any hardcore, like, truthful book recommendations. I've read some Wheel of Time. Most of what I read hinges on deep fantasy. I really haven't been up to enough reading to recommend anything necessarily. And it's such a strange answer, but the last thing I read all the way through was the Attack on Titan manga. So if you like manga, I would say check that out. And I am still in the process of starting Mistborn. But I'm sure, from what I've heard, if I were to recommend something, it would probably end up being that, but I have to give it a shot first. I know I'm gonna like it, but I have to give it a shot first. That's a very good question, though. Okay. This one, also one I don't necessarily know how to answer. But the question is, are there any triggers that I hate, but I do them anyways because people that watch my content like this trigger? I would go as far as to say no. I think all of the triggers that I do are triggers that I like. Otherwise, I honestly really wouldn't do them. But that's just me personally. I do have a trigger that I hate, though. A trigger that you'll never, ever see on this channel. And that is microphone scratching. Or like, I can show you right now. Taking the cover to a microphone and like scratching your hands on it. I can't stand that. I find that way too abrasive. It's just a little bit too much for me. Most sounds I'm pretty okay with, though. To be quite honest, I'm pretty much okay with most sounds. Even watching back, like dry hand sounds, lotion sounds, mouth sounds. You can really tap on any object, and I'd be happy to watch the video. The thing is, though, I'd say there's some crinkling sounds that I'm not a fan of, but now that I'm saying it out loud, I kind of do like crinkling sounds, to be honest. Okay. Well, I had a comment. I think it might have gotten deleted. I'm not really sure. But it was an interesting comment. It was one of the more personal comments that I had gotten, which I'm totally okay with. But it asked for my age and my height, which, to be perfectly clear, I'm happy to share that information. I think that's perfectly fine information. I don't think anyone's ever really been able to gauge my age correctly. Having spoken to really anybody, my boss, when I first started at this dream job, I was talking about how the weekend was coming up and I was gonna have some wine, because I love wine. And she was like, "You're not old enough to drink." She thought I was 19. I'm not. I'm not 19. I'm 26. So I am both old and young at the exact same time. 26, I think, is the perfect age for people to assume you're too naive and young to really understand much. I still get called a kid all the time, like, you're a good kid, like, or like, how's it going, buddy? Like, but also at the same time, everyone younger than 26 is like, you're unk status. Fair, totally fair, but I'm unk status without any of the trust put into how wise I may or may not be. So it's an interesting age. But I really don't mind being 26. It just is. I mean, it just is what it is. I don't think anyone should really care if they find themselves old or young. It's strange to me. My birthday, I'll talk about height in a second, but my birthday is in December. My birthday is December 12th, meaning I'm a Sagittarius, which is also something I was going to get into eventually here. And I think that's cool too, I think. There's a lot of signs that I think I would find it a little bit awkward if I was that specific sign. I know a lot of other Sagittariuses, I know a lot of Cancers, and I know a lot of Geminis. And I think that my big three are Sagittarius Sun, Libra Moon, and Aries Rising. The other ones, I don't know. I get into it and I like it a lot, but I don't really get into it much past the big three. My height is 6 foot. Right now it might be 5'11", but I have slides on, so it's probably closer to 6 feet. But I am 6 feet, and if anybody asks, you tell them I'm 6 feet. Please. I need it for my ego. But yeah, I think the last question we're going to get into is a pretty basic one, and in a way, one that I've really already answered by now in this video alone. And that is what I've been up to lately. I have been waking up, working out, recording, and going to work. When I get home from work after doing this stuff that I love and that is productive, I come home and I write. What I'm currently writing is my debut book. A very long, confusing, drawn-out fantasy novel that I'd absolutely love to talk about more at some point on this channel, but I'm gonna wait until it's finished first. And now that I've gotten into it, I kind of just want to talk about my book. I'll talk about the other things that I've been doing recently, but my book follows two protagonists who are on two completely different sides of the world. There's a big ocean separating their continents, and there's this sort of cycle for 12 different powers that show up every X amount of years. Some might be 500 years, and then this power shows up in somebody, one person. One might be 2,000 years, and then this power shows up in a different person. But they're on those cycles infinitely. And the start of the book is all of these 12 cycles lining up for the first time. So you've got 12 people around the world who wake up with a brand new power of some kind and a brand new mission and calling of some kind. The two main characters are two of those people. And since 12 people at the exact same time are receiving these powers, it's basically medieval World War II. The whole world goes to war, and you get to see two very, very different people from two very different walks of life navigate the world being at war while they try and further these powers that they've gotten. That's all I'll say. because this could easily turn into a 45-minute video if I keep on talking about it. We're gonna end off with talking about the stuff I've been up to in more detail. Beyond what I just described to you as my daily routine, I have been playing a lot of Pokemon. I'm playing Pokemon Black version 2 right now. I'm doing a randomized Nuzlocke of it. And I'm about to get into some Baldur's Gate tonight, probably, and I'm gonna play it like all month. I am moving soon, within the next couple of months, to just like somewhere 5 minutes away. I'm just getting my own place, like no roommates, no nothing, which would be great for recording. And I think that's a good amount of time. A few months, that's a good amount of time to complete a playthrough of Baldur's Gate, I think, right? I think so. And really just been putting a lot of my time and effort into this new department that's opened up at work, where I get a chance to just look at cool books all day and write online descriptions about these books. So showing my face was a lot less nerve-wracking than I thought it was going to be. I'm really excited for you guys to see this video, and I'm really excited to continue to use this format. Now, I'm not going to be standing for every single video. We're going to get back to our regular format, but added to the format now is going to be my face. It's no longer going to be just the bottom half of my face. I'm going to be showing my face in every video now. This transition was always going to happen at some point. I've talked about it for such a long time, of how as soon as I reach 1,000, then the face will be shown. And I'm very excited for that. So thanks once again. I cannot wait to see where all of this goes, and the encouragement alone is enough for me to keep going. And if I didn't have the encouragement, I would still be very passionate about it. I want to link my Instagram real quick to end off this video. My Instagram, I believe it is, I just made it today, and it's for this channel specifically. I believe it's Ryro.asmr. Not going to have you type that in though. There's going to be a link to it in the description. And I'm also not going to be flooding your feeds with new upload. I might post that on my story, but I'm not going to make full posts of the fact that I have uploaded. So feel free to follow me there. I think I might go out of my way to make a post on there today. And in fact, by the time this video premieres, there might actually already be a post on there. So thank you guys so much for everything. I can't say it enough. I'm gonna try to stop saying it all the time in all of my videos, so that we can just get to the heart of what each individual video is about, and just focus on the sounds, focus on the tingles, and focus on the purpose of why the video is being uploaded in the first place. Thank you guys once again. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing where this journey goes. Next time I upload, you'll see my face, and I believe we're probably going to be changing the profile picture. I'm going to give it a moment though. I'm going to wait until I upload next. But we're going to change the profile picture to show my face on it. So thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you watching this video alone. So enjoy yourselves. Be nice to yourselves. Drink water, I guess. I guess you're supposed to do that. Yeah, be kind in general. All right. See you guys.